I couldn't just leave you there. We already had the cities of light. So the time that we're living in is the end times. So when our memory is being restored, or we're starting to see like the hidden history of Tartaria, it's because where more of us are becoming electric beings, right? We're stimulating, activating the dormant aspects of our DNA, which is that 98% DNA. All right. The ether element, or the nobility, or the kings, were the kings and the queens of this realm. The nobility. So the ether element within our DNA is being reignited. All right. And because of this, we're starting to see, or a lot of us have seen, the electric cities, the star cities. And so in our collective, how we project externally is what has already been done. It's written in our DNA, the scripts, everything's already been done. So when we hear, or what Hollywood is showing us as Star Wars, what it was talking about were the star fort cities and their end times, okay? So everything gets projected externally into our world, but since our collective DNA has gone through corruption, which is disharmony within the frequencies of the plane and in the people. So through distortion and manipulation, brainwashing, indoctrination, that short period of Satan that's talked about, prophesized in the Bible, okay? That's what we're existing in right now, is we're moving through those distortions. So as we become more self-aware and our remembrance and our DNA turns back on, we are seeing the cities that are all around us, these star forts, the ancient cities of Tartaria that are worldwide, okay? But they've been destroyed, they've been melted, they've been, great fires happened, and so on and so forth. And it's not about restoring these cities either. See, the end times prophecy is that we will be lifted up and be given a new Jerusalem. So that's a new land, a new place to express ourselves. We will no longer be the Israelites, okay, which was an entire populace. That's what the Tartarians or the Christ people called themselves, were the Israel. Anyways, and so while we're seeing everything's destroyed, it's not about right now awakening so we can rebuild these beautiful megalithic structures. We're progressive. We're not going backwards, okay? So we were beings as a society, people that lived off of plasma. Our entire world worked off of plasma, or ether energy, which deals with the noble gases, the inert gases that are found in the periodic table of elements. They are the fifth element, okay? The earth, the air, the fire, the water, the ether. So the fifth element, which is the fourth, plasma is the fourth state of matter. Really, it's the first state of matter, and then it descends into matter. So from plasma or formlessness into form, to the heavy, dense minerals. And you can do more, look more on this with Walter Russell's work. Here, I'll just turn to that page. Is that on here? I'll just use this. Walter Russell's work. I have a little piece down here in the corner. Okay? So the 404 that Walter Russell talks about is the alchemy of minerals to their gaseous state through alchemy or pressure, or through heat, okay, which is a pressuring, where you get carbon and turn it to diamond through pressure, right? So as we increase, or we inhale the positive and then we exhale the negative, as minerals go through, or us within ourselves, as we heat up the minerals within our body, we elevate into the noble gases on the periodic table of elements. We take here mineral, everything that's on the periodic table of elements that's mineral, and it changes into its gaseous state, again, from solid to liquid to gas to plasma, Plasma is charged gas, okay? And that charging happens through the sun and the moon, essentially. So, and that changes, again, our base DNA is the 2% carbon, or the codable ATCG, the 10010011101. That code right there, that's your carbon-based codable DNA. The non-codable DNA, junk DNA, the plasma DNA, again, is the noble inert gases. And so once we assimilate our spirit bodies, we start operating from the plasma, again, charged. We become an atomic being, and we are charged, okay? We are illuminated, we are electric, we are electricity, we are the electricity. Again, why every city makes like a grid. Before it was star grids, now it's like some computer AI grid that everything's squared and boxed, because we're leaving this realm and being elevated into the New Jerusalem, which already exists. It's the heavenly realm that exists within the atmosphere, essentially. So that's the non-visible, or what we call the ultraviolet, ultraviolet spectrum. All right? But we have to be crowned. We have to crown ourselves. We have to awaken the crown within us. We have to rejuvenate and be twice born, which is we have to rejuvenate ourselves, and then we are born again in spirit. Okay, that's to be Christed. We all need to become Christed and embody the Sophia, the wisdom, and the Christ within, the masculine, the feminine. And that deals with our form, going from being a mundane man, a lesser light, to a greater light and electricity. So again, we're not going to go backwards and rebuild these star cities. We're not here to do that. We already lived like we were larger. We lived off of plasma. We didn't eat food. All right, we got to that point where we were just living on prana. And we were larger in stature because we were charged. Our bodies were being charged, and we are taking all of these cities. They worked around water, and we used that water. We charged the water with intention, with sound, with alchemy, and we lived on the essence of life. And so what we're doing now, becoming the seventh root race, is we are going to become the star-born beings, the celestial beings. Where's that one? We become celestial beings, right? We have integrated the mind, and we have synthesized the left and the right, the creative and the logic, and we become plasma-born, noble beings, and this body goes through a transfiguration process, and we ascend into the heavenly realms. So. And how we do that, again, is through taking the base, the shadow DNA, our shadows, and we're integrating our shadows. So externally, like I said before, the way in which we're perceiving the world outside of us is inverted due to the mass collective being in cognitive dissonance, brainwashing, and being manipulated. But we're not limited to the lower man, the lower mind, and the collective unconscious, because so many of them are from clones, which are beings that we call NPCs that don't have the spark of the divine within them, which is why we're not here to worry about waking up other people, because if they were to be awakened, they would be awakened. God would have awakened within them. So if God didn't awaken within them, then there is no God within them. Even though you may love people like this, you barely know yourself. So it is about becoming self-aware, integrating your shadow aspects, loving them, and then reading the world outside of you. So when we see doomsday negativity, you now know from the lens of from a positive lens, what that message is saying to you, right? You're like, oh, this is what it means. If it's inverted externally, right? If there's fear around it, then you're able to understand the divinity in that, because nothing is without purpose. Spirit is always speaking to us. It is about our perceptual lens. And the more